I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Vallecitos Water District for Wednesday, January 15th, 2020 at 5 p.m. Could I ask Director Martin to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, next is roll call.
Move to approve?
I don't think we need that.
Oh,
I think we've
You're
all,
approving the roll call?
entered the roll call. Okay, next is adopt the agenda. There's been a suggestion made to move item 2.4 to the February 5th regular Board of Directors meeting. So I'll entertain a motion with that modification.
move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda with the noted modification. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carries unanimously. All right, next is public comment. We've got 3 people wishing to speak under public comment, and so the first is Zoe Wetstein.
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Zoe Wetstein. I live at 1649 Via Brisa del Lago at the lake, Lake San Marcos. And since November 2018, they fixed 900 sprinkler heads at Sunrise Point where I live. And as soon as they started all this extra water pressure, the sprinklers at my house hadn't worked for years. I've been there for 22 years, and it's been very peaceful, and everything's been fine. And then they fixed the sprinklers, and of course it put a lot of pressure on the water. So I've had to replace 2 regulators. The lady across the street replaced the regulator. I don't go around asking people what their plumbing problems are. I don't know how many regulators were adjusted. And I live in a duplex, have a roommate. They've had 2 water pipes bust. I've done everything. I've had at least 12 plumbers because my house vibrates, it rumbles. I thought it was my water pipes. I've had plumber after plumber tell me that it's not the pipes. I had a man come in with earphones, charged me $240 to walk around my house, and he went in every bathroom, the 2 bathrooms, and checked everything. Said there was a leak in the toilet in the master bathroom, so I went right to Home Depot and bought another toilet. He charged me $240. The toilet was over $200. The installation was over $200. And I have a $600 toilet in my master bathroom. Of course, the rumbling continues. The vibration continues. So I keep having plumbers. This has started in November of 2018. I've been a nervous wreck because of the rumbling and the vibration in my house. So I've been to the water department many times. I've replaced my circulator on my hot water heater. I've had the hot water heater flushed, and of course they found something wrong with the bib and put a $100 bib on it. I have all the work papers here of all the money I've spent on plumbers, but I don't get any help except I did get Eric Garcia, and he brought me this nice map and showed me where I live, which was very helpful. But he doesn't say where the sewers are. It's not my water pipes. It's something in the sewers, because there's getting water. There's a sewer drainage right outside my patio. Did I overdo my speaking time? Well, anyway, I'm here to find an engineer that can help me find out why my house rumbles and why I lived there quietly for 20 years, and after they fixed the sprinklers, all hell broke loose. And I live alone. I don't have any help. I have all the plumbers, I have all the bills, and I still don't get to sleep at night. And it comes and goes, it's periodic, it comes and goes. It's not constant. So I know I don't have something wrong here. But I need an engineer to find out why sometimes I feel like the bed is shaking. I mean, it comes and goes. Because the sewer stopped up or something. It's not the water pipes, I'm pretty sure of that, but there must be some stoppage someplace in my water system. Now, they did do a big job down on it via Entrada del Lago at Sunrise Point. They did a big job there. There were several days. They must have found something because there's a lift. There's a lift right at like 2 blocks from me. And I feel like when that lift gets full of stuff and those things turn into the main pipes, that it's causing my problem. I'm getting some kind of vibration from that lift. That's my theory. I don't have an engineer degree, but I need somebody to help me find out, because it's after all this time, I've been really sick. I've lost 20 pounds, and I really need help.
Ma'am, could we get staff to contact you and go over this with you? I don't know if
I
staff
can't
is-
hear you.
Yeah, we'd be happy to do that. I know Ms. Wetstein has been in contact with district personnel. We've worked with her. I think it was more on the water side than the wastewater side, but it does sound like our supervisor for collections
Right.
also contacted her. We're happy to reach out again and do whatever we can to help her.
Okay, appreciate it. We can't really discuss the item tonight because it hasn't been agendized.
If she can leave her phone number, I can reach out to her.
Are you an engineer?
Okay, we'll move on to our next speaker, Mr. Hunsicker.
I can have your card.
Mike Hunsaker, speaking for the Twin Oaks Valley Property Owners Association tonight. I spoke advocated for a citizen last month who is being charged detachment fees. And the rationale for these fees didn't make much sense to me. Supposedly the rationale was, well, we've built all this capacity, and since we paid for it, you should buy out the stuff that you potentially could use that was built for you. I've read a couple of water assessments, water supply assessment calculations, and they make it clear that we are short on water capacity. We're short on reservoirs. Our pipelines aren't necessarily in good shape as far as capacity. So it sounds like you're selling capacity that he can't use and that you don't own. And the rationale really comes down to money. Because if you set a precedent where one person who cannot gain capacity, cannot use anything, and isn't there anyway, well, they shouldn't pay for what they are not getting and can't use and what wasn't built. We've got shortages everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker, Richard Lupo.
My name is Richard Lupa. I live in Escondido at 1557 Anthony Heights Drive. And I would like to present to you my attachment. Did you? Okay. So I own one legal parcel, which unfortunately has one legal lot, which unfortunately has two parcel numbers. In 2004, I built a house and I connect sewer service from Vallecitos Water District and water service from Vista. That Vista served these both parcels water. And in December last year, I applied for permit to build ADU, other words, granite flat. And county told me I should connect to existing sewer and water. It'd be easy and not much cost. So I came to, because I need to sign off from the water and sewer district, I came to engineering department here in Vallecitos, and they told me I cannot to connect my lot 25, parcel 25, because only parcel 24 is annexed to Vallecitos Water District, and parcel 25 is not. Even this is one legal parcel. So I researched what do I need to do to get this service and water to this ADU, to this granite flat. And the engineering department told me, because there's a new law in Vallecitos Water District, I cannot to just get sewer connection. I need to have both water and sewer. In order to do that, I need to de-annex water from Vista and annex to Vallecitos. And then I need to annex sewer to lot 25 from Vallecitos. This is also has to go to LAFCO, which is doing annexation, and additional cost from LAFCO, which means I need to pay LAFCO for de-annexation from Vista, 2 parcels, 2 payments, and I need to pay Vista 2 payments for de-annexation, and I need to pay payments to Vallecitos for annexation. As of now, my house got Vallecitos sewer and Vista water district. And what Vista told me, they said they want to transfer water to Vallecitos. So I don't know how soon, this year, next year, or in 10 years, but that's the plan. So they will be transferring water service to Vallecitos. So then I have no problem, because then I got water and sewer from Vallecitos. As of now, I cannot to connect my ADU, my granite flat, to existing sewer, because unfortunately parcel 25, even this is one legal lot, it's not connected to Vallecitos Water District. So in order to do all this crazy stuff, disconnect, de-annexation, annexation, it would cost about $65,000 just to have availability to do that, to connect my small, granite flat to sewer and water. So I just trying to ask Vallecitos Water District to some kind of release and to make exemption from standard annexation requirements and allow me to do only sewer annexation to parcel 25. All this is so short, and on page 3, there is letter from San Diego County, which saying, so this is one legal lot, but 2 parcels. And that's the only way which I could build this small granite flat is if I could get from Vista Water District waiver to don't connect water, just connect sewer. And besides, water will be transferred to Vallecitos anyway from Vista sooner or later, I don't know, a year or 2 or 3. So otherwise I can't do this granite flat at all, because 65,000 just for annexation, de-annexation, annexation, it just make it just not viable. So I would like to ask Board of Directors, which is in power to make this waiver, to waive my requirements to annex to water, Vallecitos Water District, and allow me to annex only to sewer. So that's the only way I could do that project. And anyway, I can wait another year, 2 or 3, when Vista transfer to Vallecitos, but I would like to do now, I'm not too young, I'm 70 years old, I would like to do during my lifetime this project, and this is my, if I would like to ask Board of Directors consider this. And the last page, page number 4, is just a letter to Board of Directors taking this, about this, my situation. I put, you could have one copy also to you, yeah, but you in there. Yeah.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we can't act on your request tonight. It hasn't been, this is not an agendized item. We can't really even discuss it.
I understand.
Yeah, so it would have to be agendized in order for us to consider your request.
So I need to be on agenda,
Yes.
but could, I mean, based on your decision, could they start to do research or some kind of, so is it possible? That's my
Yeah,
point.
I'll let staff answer that.
Yeah, so eventually, I don't know all the details of this project any more than the directors know, but eventually this would work its way through the process, and the board would have to approve the annexation. So as part of that item, as we've done with similar projects before, we can include a request from the proponent to request a waiver of the fees, and that would be the time for the board to consider the waiver.
So should I again submit for the next
Yeah, so
meeting?
I think you should schedule to meet with staff.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
kind of kick off this process.
And I don't know if staff has any idea when the annexation would be coming forward for board consideration. February, okay, so February 5th, we can put an item on the agenda.
Okay. But meantime, is it possible, so engineering department to provide for you some research regarding the?
Sure. Yeah, we'll be looking into it in the meantime.
Okay, and February 5th, yes, I think
February
it's the
5th.
next meeting. Thank you so very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have a presentation. I'll turn it over to Chris.
Thank you so much. Board members, I have a video to show you today. I like it very much. I hope you'll like it very much. It is confined space training of Vallecitos staff at our Meadowlark Reclamation Facility, working with 8 different fire agencies, cross-train and put some actual scenarios in place to do confined space training, and the actual firefighters talk about it, and I will let them explain it to you.
Firmly in your establishing Vallecitos IC. Vallecitos Water District for a confined space rescue. Engine 101, Harley 101, Engine 102, Engine 231, 238, 261, Engine 265.
Hi, my name is Brad Pearson. I'm an engineer paramedic with San Marcos Fire Department. The confined space rescue training takes place every year for our agencies. Typically, how we split it up is 6 days is for the East, North County Fire Department agencies, and 6 days for the West. This year, I was the lead instructor for the 6 days on the East, and John Aguirre, firefighter paramedic with Carlsbad Fire Department, was the lead for the West agencies. We decided to do our confined space training this year at the Meadowlark Water Reclamation Facility for a couple of reasons, and allowed our personnel to kind of gain some experience outside of our normal training area. Second, this allowed us to work as a team with Vallecitos personnel and know what our level of training is, our experience, and then also get familiar with each other's equipment. The 4 skill stations that we had set up today, the first one was a Arizona Vortex. This is a new piece of equipment fire departments in the North Zone are starting to purchase and utilize. It has a lot of applications, and one of them being confined space rescue. So we're taking this training as an opportunity to introduce that new piece of equipment and allow everyone to get some hands-on time with it and some experience with it. The second skill station was a review on all the confined space rescue equipment that goes with air monitoring, ventilation, harnesses. Next, we went over a permit review. It's a very important legal document requires for us to document prior to making entry into a permit-required confined space. Permit is also used by Vallecitos Water District and many of the other water districts. If we were to respond in and Vallecitos had that document already filled out, it would make that transition a lot quicker. The last skill station that we had was a facility walkthrough. Vallecitos staff walked our personnel through the Metal Arc facility, and we identified 2 different locations, one a horizontal entry into a basin, and the second location was a vertical entry. We just discussed ways that we could make entries and how we'd mitigate those hazards to effect a rescue and provide for safety for our personnel.
No hazardous atmosphere on the exterior of the vent. You'll be effecting a rescue of a viable victim on the concrete wall.
After the 4 skill stations are complete, at the end of the training, we completed an actual scenario. That gave everyone the opportunity to take what they learned and apply it to a scenario that we put on for them.
Scenario that we set up was personnel working at the Metal Arc facility was working on a sump pump inside the vault. Somehow mechanically the equipment failed and they ended up going down the hole. And we had first responders come out and start up a rigging system to get the individual down the hole. We utilized the vortex, setting up communications, go over the plan of who's going in the hole, having one person calling out, lowering the people, having direct communication with the entrance, the 2 people going inside, so you have a backup, a redundant system in place.
We also implemented how we would be working with Vallecitos personnel to also incorporate them to safely rescue that victim.
Working with Don and a lot of the other Metal Arc personnel, they were able to take us throughout the facility and give us the way they see things, the way they operate, equipment they use, the hazards they deal with on a daily basis. Seeing the comfort level opened our eyes up. Seeing how well they ran the Metal Arc facility helped get us to that comfort level, become familiar with that facility if we ever do receive a call, that we will be able to respond efficiently and effectively.
This confined space training with the fire agency has better prepared us for any potential scenarios that could occur at the Metal Arc facility. We appreciate the collaborations and the time that they took to discuss their procedures with Vallecitos staff. I look forward to having more of these collaborations in the future.
There was a lot of key players that helped this drill to be successful. They were very courteous, respectful, very knowledgeable. It's been great working with Vallecitos. I know most of our departments around have had a really good working relationship. I just look forward to future trainings with Vallecitos and their staff. On behalf of the San Marcos Fire Department and other fire departments in North County, San Diego, I just want to say a big thank you to Vallecitos and everyone who was involved. We were able to get every firefighter in North County, San Diego through Vallecitos Metal Arc facility to go through the confined space rescue training.
Very good.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Any questions? Would you like to see that one on San Marcos TV?
Oh, absolutely.
That's a great one. Very nice work.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You and the staff,
Nice
great
job.
job again.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm continuously impressed, not just by the content of what, the reason for the training exercise, but the quality of the video. And
Yeah.
it's
Right.
something you would see on a commercial, commercially done.
And who shot the video this time?
That's Alicia and her old Macintosh upstairs. I mean, she's got her camera, but she has to edit it on her
Yeah,
old Mac,
right.
and
Oh,
she's
that's-
still getting it done.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Excellent job, excellent job.
Great job.
Thanks.
Oh, speaking of which, is there an opportunity for us to find an awards opportunity or something that we could take this great work and see if we can't get some kudos?
We've got a couple awards in the hopper, so if you just cross your fingers for us, that'd be terrific.
Okay,
We'll see if we get them. We got one coming up.
perfect.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Thank you so much.
All right, next is consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar will be voted upon by one motion. Be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or member of the public requests that a particular item be removed from the consent calendar, in which case it will be considered separately under action items.
Move to approve.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carries unanimously. Okay, on to action items. 2.1, contract award for distribution water main flushing services.
Yeah, Ed Pedrazzi's going to take this item, but I'll just give a little introduction. So one of the requirements we have to run our water system driven by the state is that we have to do flushing of our distribution system on a regular basis. But given the cost of water, the scarcity of water, and just political pressures that are coming down, we're trying to find alternative ways than just letting the water just run down into the storm drain system. So Ed's going to talk to you about a project, a contract that we have, this kind of a pilot program for an alternative method. So,
Thank you, General Manager Prum. Director Elithart, members of the board. general manager pretty much stole my thunder on most of that.
I noticed that. It's like, what do you have to say?
Oh, well, this has come about, SB 555, you might remember, you've had 2 or 3 reports from us on our annual water audit that we have to do now because of that law. That regulation was put in place in order to force agencies to do a better job of counting for every drop of water. And we have other regulations that have recently come down the pipe that are going to force us to reduce the use of water. The ones that are coming down the pipe, there's talking about now fining districts. So we saw those coming down the line a few years ago. The Lake San Marcos area, we were trying to keep from putting any water into the lake, so we came up with an idea of reclaiming that water by putting the flushed water into our sewer lines, but as soon as we started doing calculations, the flushing velocities and the volume, we would have created our own sewer spill almost immediately. So we backed off of that idea, and we've kind of worked around with our flushing program, which is another required regulation that we do flush our water lines. And this actually came about through going to conference and seeing a presentation on this company. They've only been around about 8 years, but I'm hoping more companies like this will pop up. The whole idea is, instead of flushing the line and letting it go to the storm drain and eventually to waste, is to put it through a truck-mounted or trailer-mounted filtration system. And so that's what they do. They hook up from hydrant to hydrant. They have a booster pump that helps draw that water through the filtration system and then pump it back into the water line. There's water quality monitoring that goes on at the truck itself. We're also going to have staff out in the field doing our own water quality monitoring and assisting with this process. And we've chosen Lake San Marcos as our pilot area. We're going to flush with this company, if the board approves the contract, a little over 20 miles of pipe. And it will save about 1 million gallons of water. It's not necessarily a cost savings, but it is a way to show that we are conserving water as much as possible. And if this works well, then we may use them again. I don't see us anytime soon purchasing one of the rigs, like you see that scrolling through City of Fresno, City of San Jose. There's a few other the large agencies have actually gone out and purchased the rigs, but they're well over $500,000 and require a Class A driver's license and then a lot of maintenance. So maybe after I retire, somebody will go to purchase one of those. But in the meantime, we'd like to try this pilot test. Director Martin might remember from the Finance Committee last year, this was one of the things in the budget we discussed. We weren't sure exactly how many miles of pipe we were going to do, so the budget amount was for $85,000, and the contract amount is $73,000 for the 20 miles of pipe. Leaves us with a budget surplus of $12,000. So the staff recommendation would be to authorize the general manager to execute a contract for the services with Reliable Water Solutions LLC in the amount of $73,000, subject to the provisions of that contract. And I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Yeah, I've got a question. What kind of Division of Drinking Water approvals were required?
So we did have to go to the State Department, Division of Drinking Water for approval with that. Obviously, City of Fresno, San Jose, they already have that approval, so it was pretty much just checking the box. It's their regulation that forces us to do the flushing, which we would do anyways. And then it's also their regulation that says don't waste water. So they're actually on board with this. Unfortunately, this is the only company that's approved to do it right now, and the only company that I know of that actually has the equipment to do it. I'm hoping this forces some competition, and maybe a year or two down the road, we have other companies to get
Yeah, I would
bids
imagine the initial approval from Division of Drinking Water was pretty tough to get. Taking water and treating it, putting it back in a regulated system.
Right. Yeah, it's always fun to get those approvals.
Director Martin?
I have a couple of questions. First one is an economic. It would be the right thing to do. What is 1 million, I don't have my calculator, what's 1 million gallons of water cost us?
It's not a lot. What's our, we're about 1,600 per acre foot.
3 acre feet.
About 3 acre foot. So you know, $5,000. That's a rough figure is about what the cost is.
So it's the right thing to do for conservation, but I constantly keep thinking of all the money we spend at EWA, all the money San Diego spends, and we're 34 miles south of us, trillions of gallons are going untreated into the ocean. Sometimes I'm like, are we being regulated to death? You know, and it's costing our ratepayers money to do what's right when other people don't need to do what's right. So it's just a question. And then is there a time savings on our part for our staff, seeing as they're no longer doing the flushing, this company is? Or are they not doing the flushing, they're just doing the decontamination of the water?
No, the company does basically everything. We're going to be out there with staff, because we've never had this company work for us
I know,
before.
you're watching them, what I'm saying is, in the past, our staff had to do it.
Correct.
There were worker bees out there. Now we don't need worker bees, now we need observers, I guess.
They'll actually still be in the process because basically I'm requiring them to continue to take water quality monitoring tests while this is going on to make sure that the company is doing their due diligence and that we're not causing any issues for our customers. It's all great that a company says that they follow all the procedures, but we're going to make sure, and I would say in the future that would be something we would do anyways. It's our responsibility to protect the public health. This is an outside company. They may say they're doing that, but it's still our responsibility to make sure
So
that
we use
are.
just as many people doing that as if we were actually doing the flushing.
It is a
ourselves.
time savings, the way that they're doing it. Our flushing program would probably take a few more weeks to do what they're doing. They're able to do it quicker because they're moving the water at a higher velocity. We're not putting it down a storm drain, so we don't have all the best management practices that we have to put in place, where we have to make sure we're not causing any sedimentation erosion. We have to put up sandbags. They have to take dechlorinate the water. So this actually, we're not having to dechlorinate it. It's coming through. We can actually add chlorine to the water as it goes through this process. We need to boost it up. So is it something that's a cost savings to the district? No, I would never try to present it that way. It is something that may be pushed on us in the near future through regulation. This is a pilot test. We chose Lake San Marcos for a couple of reasons. It's an older section of the district. It's in dire need of a good flushing, and there's other reasons for us not to want to put water into Lake San Marcos right now, which I won't bring up.
Thank you very much.
Director Hernandez.
Would you walk through physically how they do this?
I can show you a quick video if you like. It's about 2.5 minutes.
Oh, sure. Let's see a video.
Videos.
It's San Jose, city of San Jose, I think, that they bought their own rig.
Hi, I'm Dr. Susan Willis, Superintendent of Water Quality here at San Jose Water Company. My team is constantly working to make sure we maintain the highest quality of water for our customers. Today, I'd like to show you one of the ways we're doing this. To make sure the water that you use on a daily basis for washing, drinking, and cleaning remains safe, we regularly flush our water mains to remove any sand or deposits which may have built up in the system. These deposits are not harmful, but we remove them to ensure that we continue providing the highest quality of water possible. As we all know, the Bay Area, and all of California, is experiencing a severe drought. Traditional flushing methods waste huge quantities of safe drinking water. At San Jose Water Company, we have started using a circulating flushing truck, which reduces the losses during routine flushing to almost zero. This is how it works. Our flushing truck makes visits only during the day, while most people are at work or school, so we can minimize any inconvenience to customers. We go door to door to ensure everyone who will be affected knows we are going to be flushing. This process does not interrupt water service to the neighbors. Our water quality personnel then use hoses to connect the truck to 2 nearby fire hydrants, which are external access points to our water system. We isolate this section of pipe to make a closed loop. Pumps attached to the truck pull water out of one hydrant, send it through a filter, and then pump it back out to the other hydrant. The water travels through the pipe at very high speed to scour out any debris, which are caught in the truck's filters and removed from the system. Another benefit of our new method is that we can achieve very powerful scouring using the truck pump. In order to fully clean neighborhood pipes, water needs to be moving quite fast, at least 3 feet per second. Due to basic physical constraints, traditional methods rarely reach 2 feet per second flows. Our pumps allow us to achieve average speeds of 4 to 5 feet per second, meaning we can flush pipes less often and more effectively. Here at San Jose Water Company, we're committed to reducing our water loss during this drought and beyond. We're excited to find new ways to help support our community's conservation efforts. Thank you for your time today, and if you have any questions, please give us a call.
Yeah, I'm not sure if, we could pass the Segway in our budget. Be a nice addition.
Don't tell me we need segues now for everybody out there.
Ed, I had another question. What
Painting fire hydrants is important because it provides visibility and location to fire departments and...
YouTube said, sorry, no, sorry about that.
I was wondering what typically are the problem areas for considering flushing for
The
this
flushing
system?
program, all distribution lines are supposed to be flushed, but it's typically the dead ends.
Yeah, okay.
And unfortunately, we have over 700 dead ends in our system.
Right.
So in the Lake San Marcos area, we're gonna flush everything. There are no transmission lines, so there's nothing above 12 inches in the Lake San Marcos area. So this pilot will be to clean the whole area.
Okay.
We have 354 miles of pipe, so a little bit of math would show you that we're only doing 20 for $73,000. We don't want to try to flush all of our lines this way. It'd be quite expensive. Our goal is to go through our distribution system once every 5 years. The good thing about something like this is that during a drought, we can still do the flushing program. Everybody stopped once the boards declared a level 1 drought. So the flushing program is kind of way behind, so we're trying to get caught up. But.
Okay, any other questions? Entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve staff's recommendation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Okay, on to
Thank you,
item
Ed. Great job.
2.2, construction contract award of sewer lining rehabilitation.
Yeah, Ryan's going to take that, and I don't want to steal his thunder, so I'll just turn it over to him.
He's bigger than you are.
How do I follow that? Thank you, Director Elithar, members of the board. I'm here with the construction contract award for sewer lining and rehabilitation. O&M and structural deficiencies, O&M and structural deficiencies have been identified in segments of 8-inch clay and primarily ductile iron pipe. Go ahead. Throughout the district at a total of 59 different locations, as illustrated on the map before you. The integrity of the hose pipe can be sacrificed due to any combination of O&M or structural deficiencies. Staff evaluated this project and identified that rehabilitation of these sewer pipe sections can be accomplished by using cured-in-place pipe lining, CIPP liners. They employ a trenchless technology to make fully structural repairs inside the hose pipe. This mitigates needs for replacing the sewer, bypass pumping, traffic control costs. Installation of CIPP liners is typically more effective and cost-effective and efficient than remove and replace. A summary of the full rehabilitation is 54 full section sewer segment repairs, totaling almost 12,000 linear feet. 35 additional full sections are all located in Lake San Marcos area, totaling just over 7,000 linear feet. Additionally, there's 5-point repairs included in this project. This project is a culmination of 2 CIPs which were budgeted throughout fiscal years 1920, 2021, and 21-22. The 2 projects are the 2019 sewer lining and rehab and the Northwest Lake San Marcos sewer replacement and lining projects. By combining the like work and utilizing shared mobilization and cost savings through economy of scale, staff recommends merging the 2 projects into one. And on January 7th, 2020, at 2 p.m., district staff received an open bids from 3 contractors The bid results, the low bid was In Situ Form Technologies at $631,472. New Line Technologies was the second low at $824,000, and the high bid was Downstream Services at $963,000, just over. Staff prepared the design, specifications, and the full bid package. Staff will also perform the construction management and inspection duties of the project. The engineer's estimate of the project was $860,000. Staff and council completed the evaluation of the qualifications and determined In Situ Form Technologies was the lowest responsible bidder. The combined total budget for the two projects is shown in the staff report at $1,417,000. However, the current fiscal year allocation for the 2019 sewer lining and rehabilitation project for 1920 is $812,000. With everything totaled up, it totals the project will total $963,619. In the interim for current fiscal year, staff recommends increasing the 1920 sewer lining and rehabilitation fiscal budget by $150,000 to accommodate the current fiscal year deficiency in the budget, and awarding the construction contract to In Situ Form Technologies in the amount of $631,472, which will include both CIP projects. And ultimately, beyond fiscal year 21-22, this project will provide the district with a budget surplus of $453,381. And if there's any questions, I'm here to answer.
Any questions?
Yeah. You said that staff's number was how much to do this? 800?
The design portion?
Yeah, on page 49.
Oh, engineer's estimate was $860,000.
Okay, and one of them came out $230,000 less than that.
Correct.
What did we miss? Or what did they miss they're not going to do?
We found some disparities, some shared mobilization, which they may not have capitalized on in the Lake San Marcos area. We went through a round of addendums on this bid and were able to reinforce the construction, the contract documents. We feel that the second and third bids were more in line with the estimate and in a tighter cluster as well. In Situ Form, however, is a very well-known name in the industry of CIPP lining. They're in many ways kind of the original from back in the 60s and 70s. We feel confident in their references and their ability to perform the work. So I don't know if
When I see a large disparity, I'm like,
yeah,
what got missed?
Sure.
Yeah, I would add, there's a big difference between the low bidder and the engineer's estimate, but if you look at the bids we received, there's a huge difference between the low bidder and the high bidder. So even in their industry, what they do day in and day out, there's a 50% increase from In Situ Form's bid to Downstream Services bid. So estimating is as much art as it is science, but we're in the range of the span of bids that we got.
Well, I've had experience with In Situ Form. They're definitely kind of the original for the secured in place technology. I mean, I did a project with them back in, I think, 1986 at Submarine Base at Point Loma, and they were well respected. They had been in business 20 years at that time. So
correct. We feel confident in that, and not knowing much about how they bid this project, I assume they're going to have multiple crews working in parallel with each other. They'll probably have one down at Lake San Marcos the whole time, and then another crew, one or two more crews bouncing around kind of the rest of the district locations is what I presume, but I'm not sure.
I have one other question. Sure. How did we, on your map, how did we identify all of these areas? What did we do to identify them? Was this what we were looking for, or just as we were working? Or was that a new employee who identified them?
We take CCTV inspections of our sewer lines, and there's a process of evaluating the deficiencies and the defects that are encountered, whether those are O&M defects that can be grease buildup or something as simple as a root intrusion, or it could be actual structural defects to where the host pipe wall is cracked or there's a void or a full-on collapsed sewer. And there's different ratings and severities of each defect. So through process of evaluation and assessment, we were able to classify the worst locations, essentially.
So our crews, doing their normal routine, identify those and write them down, and then eventually they make you compile a list.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, correct.
thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve staff's recommendation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 2.3, adopt ordinance to comply with Senate Bill 998 regarding discontinuation of water service for non-payment.
Yeah, so this is another regulatory requirement driven out by the state, passed through Senate Bill 998. And then what they're trying to do is control how agencies discontinue water service due to non-payment. Wes is going to make a presentation, but there's a time element associated with this. I believe February 1st, we have to adopt a new ordinance that complies with SB 998. So with that, I'll turn it over to Wes.
Good evening, Director Althar, members of the board. As you may know, Senate Bill 998 was signed in 2018, and it establishes additional regulations as far as discontinuance of service for non-payment for water service. And Vallecitos must comply with this Senate bill by February 1st, 2020. So staff has been working cooperatively with other agencies and with our attorneys to make sure that the new ordinance is in compliance with the Senate bill. So some of the new requirements of the Senate bill, just to summarize, are that the district is required to provide at least 60 days of delinquency before disconnection. Our current ordinance says 45 days, so we'll be transitioning from 45 to 60 days. We're required to adopt and post a written policy for discontinuation of water service. This policy also has to be translated into, I believe it's 6 different languages, and any of our population that's over 10% in the service area, we have to translate that language as well. The SB 998 limits the amount we can charge for reconnection fees to low-income households, and it also requires the annual reporting of the number of disconnections for non-payments to the State Water Resources Control Board, and we have to post that number to our website as well. So those are the major changes, but ordinance number 214 is proposed, is in compliance with all the changes of SB 998, and with that, staff recommends adopting ordinance 214.
Questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the ordinance as presented. All those in favor, is this a roll call? Roll call.
Roll call.
Oops,
It didn't like me.
that's roll call.
Nobody's here.
There's only 3 of them.
I'm sorry, you'll have to sign back in for attendance.
Oh, okay. We don't see the screen. Yeah.
Didn't get you. There you go.
Oh, okay.
What do you need them to do?
So
I'm sorry.
just
We
vote?
need your vote, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
All right,
thank you.
passed unanimously. Okay, that's it for action items. On to reports. Thanks, Wes.
Good job, Wes.
3.1, General Manager.
Yeah, just one item. Just wanted to inform the board that we did send out the notice to the public for the water rate hearing that will be held on February 27th at 5 o'clock. It was sent out, I believe, on Monday, which complies with the 45-day posting requirement. So that's all I have.
Okay. District Legal Counsel.
I'll keep it short. You may have seen that OTI filed action against Rainbow Newest Water District over the annexation under CEQA. It was filed last week, so.
Who did, OTI did?
OTI did.
Why?
They didn't think they complied, or OTI doesn't think Rainbow complied with CEQA.
They being a puppet for the water authority?
I don't know.
I could guess that, though.
Yes.
I could guess that, okay.
In addition to that, the OTI expressed their intention to also file suit against Fallbrook. It's just timing-wise, they didn't have to file suit yet. They had a time urgency to file against Rainbow, but it's their intent to also file suit against Fallbrook.
Is there anything specific in the filing on what about CEQA, or what part of CEQA?
Well, they claim that they relied upon a statutory exemption when it should have been a categorical exemption. They didn't complete their initial study to determine whether there were any environmental impacts. They specifically cite no consideration of the impacts to the delta. That's what's in the complaint.
Thank you.
Maybe we can file a suit against OTI.
All right, San Diego County Water Authority, anything there?
The next meeting's on the 23rd, next Thursday.
Encina Wastewater Authority, Capital Improvement Committee.
We haven't had our meeting yet.
Okay. Policy and Finance.
No meeting until the 26th.
Standing committees, I don't think we've had anything.
No.
No?
Directors' reports on meetings, conferences, seminars attended. Anything?
Nope, hasn't been any.
I don't think so.
We're going at light speed here. Okay, other business, there's water reuse annual conference information in the packet. And lastly, director's comments and future agenda items. Anything? Seeing none, we're adjourned.
Okay.